while working late in the evening, as any politician would do days before an election. But if the police decide to issue me with a fixed penalty notice, I would, of course, do the right thing and step down.
I want to ask you about Rachel Reeves, the Chancellor. The news, of course, they were commenting on GDP figures. First of all, we had the revelation that she hadn't actually worked as an economist at Halifax Bank of Scotland.
Unthinkable has happened. Keir Starmer, once hailed as Labour's saviour, has suffered a devastating political collapse. Sources say he broke down in tears behind closed doors, overwhelmed by defections, rebellion, and
Start with the Telegraph, shall we? So Nigel Farage this week will outflank Sir Keir Starmer by committing to scrapping the two-child benefit cap, number one, and secondly, fully reinstating the winter fuel payment. And as I say fully, I'm making that very clear when you compare it to what the Prime Minister said in PMQs on Wednesday. The Reform leader will appeal to left-leaning voters in a challenge to Sir Keir in a speech, launching his biggest attack yet on the Prime Minister. And of course, what they expect to happen is there will be a wave of demands to Sir Keir Starmer to say you need to up your game and actually match this. Now, apparently, according to the copy here, Sir Keir is open to scrapping the two-child benefit cap, but it's Rachel Reeves and it's
in their pocket. We will demand, this government does the same, that there is a minister for deportations. It will be part of the Home Office, but it'll be a separate department within it. We will need to recruit new people, as much of the evidence is that those that currently work in the Home Office would willfully obstruct policy if we won the next general election. But somebody somewhere in government needs to be held accountable. And you know, you've only got to go back 20 years to the last Labour government, and they were deporting tens of thousands of people a year who were here illegally. When Blunkett was Home Secretary, if you came illegally, you know, you didn't touch the sides. You were sent back. So what I'm calling for isn't actually anything particularly radical. It's actually just common sense. It's what most countries in the world do. You want to go and live there, you want to go and settle there, you have to meet a set of criteria. And that country chooses, are you the right person or are you not? I know the problem is huge because there are an estimated 1.2 million people here illegally. And going beyond the last couple of 100,000 is not going to be an easy job. It's going to be one hell of a battle, and we know that the state and the apparatus of state will fight us at every point. But it is our intention, ultimately, that if you've come illegally, you should not be able to stay. You should not be able to make a spurious claim that somehow your right to a family life means you should stay here. We will, in 3 to 4 weeks' time, announce more detailed policy on how we will actually carry out those deportations. We'll do that after the election, but I make the intention very, very clear here today. We will bring a total end to all asylum claims from people who've come here on travel visas or who are overseas students. We will demand the deportation of all foreign criminals. And for those who come to Britain and who are granted citizenship, that will be regarded as a legally binding contract, just as it is in Australia and elsewhere. We welcome you in if you make those pledges to us, but you actually have to obey the law and be somebody who is a positive benefit to our country. We are a party who are very proud of the fact we had more votes in the general election from the ethnic minority vote than the Liberal Democrats did. And an increasing number of people from all communities want to stand for our party. These are people who came to Britain, or their parents came to Britain, because they wanted to be part of this great country. They wanted to become a success in this great country. So try as anyone might to twist anything I've said today. All I've given you are hard facts. All I've laid out are sensible policies that will stop illegal immigration into Britain and stop the population explosion, which is damaging the quality of life for so many countless millions. Thank you very much indeed. Now, we have quite a big press list, and I will go through it in order, beginning with Stanley Murphy-Johns from the Press Association.
Hi. So there's no plan between you and the Conservatives.
What, no formal plan between us and the Party of Mass Immigration, did you say? So I missed you.
But there are calls to unite the right from people like Robert So what could that look like for?
Good old Robert the Remainer. Good old Robert, the man who's been on the Damascene road to Damascus, the Damascene conversion on the road to Damascus. You will see on May the 2nd that our biggest gains are going to be in Labour voting areas. That is where we are making most impact. I would also tell you that the majority of our members and a big percentage of our voters at the last election were not voting Conservative because they loathed the Conservative Party. They could not put up with the level of betrayal that had happened since the 2019 80-seat majority. If we were to even contemplate doing a deal, our voters would be revolted by it. Our party itself internally would be in revolt. And if I wanted to do a deal with you of any kind, I would shake your hand, look you in the eye, and do that deal because I trusted you. I don't trust the Conservative Party in any way at all, and we are going to replace them. Thank you. Next one, Kitty Donaldson from the iPaper.
You say you're basically parking your tanks on the road. I'm just wondering about Birmingham in particular. What would you do if you were in charge of the council there? Would you settle with Unite? And what's your view on unions more generally?
Look, we want to reindustrialise. It's slightly separate to today's debate, but we want to reindustrialise Britain. I worked for 22 years in the metals industry. My clients were rolling mills. My clients produced lead sheet. My clients manufactured copper wire. These were the people I dealt with on a daily basis working in the metals industry in the city of London. And I've seen nearly all of them go, disappear, since 1990. And we boast about the fact we've reduced carbon dioxide emissions by 50%. Well, no wonder, is it? We've just exported CO2 emissions elsewhere and given ourselves the most expensive energy in the world. To reindustrialise, we have to have a sensible, grown-up relationship with the trade union movement because they're going to be a big part of us reindustrialising Britain. This is not some dramatic U-turn by me or anything like this. It's a practical way of looking at how we do this. As far as Birmingham's concerned, I sense that Birmingham is just the beginning of what is going to be a very, very difficult summer and autumn for the Labour government with the trade union movement. They, of course, virtually own the Labour Party. When you think that, Unite have given them 28 million since 2020, the GMB have given them 20 million since 2020. Sorry, other way around, 28, 20, other way around. So they've really funded the Labour Party, and they see weakness from the Labour Party. And that, I think, is why we're going to see increasing disputes. Clearly, as far as Birmingham is concerned, there is a national health hazard. I understand some of the backlog is being cleared up. I think the Army were sent in, weren't they? The Army were sent in to help with logistics. Well, perhaps they should have been sent in to clear up the rubbish a little bit earlier. I think it was fought on both sides with that. Thank you. Katie Harris from The Express.
Hiya. Should any changes to post-Brexit fishing arrangements be incumbent on France stopping small boats?
I can tell you that since Brexit, and I speak as the only member of Parliament that has a vested financial interest in a commercial fishing boat, which I do, I can tell you that since Brexit, there are more foreign boats fishing out here on the 6-mile line than we've ever seen at any point in previous history, and that goes right the way down to Land's End. The environmental damage to fish stocks in this eastern channel since Brexit has been horrendous. The regulations put by the MMO and the MCA on our own fishing industry are so onerous and so expensive that frankly many of them think the situation is worse now than it was before we left the European Union. And any further surrender of our fishing rights will literally finish off what was once a big industry. And it's total and utter madness. The minimum Brexit should have given us is a 12-mile line. The maximum, of course, would have been a 200-mile exclusive economic zone, as enjoyed by Norway, the Faroe Islands, Iceland, and any normal country in the world. And I worry about that. I worry about alignment with veterinary standards and food standards with the European Union. I worry about alignment for carbon taxes, for example, with the European Union. And I worry perhaps even more that on the 19th of March, we're going to be talking about a form of military alignment which will include intelligence sharing to potentially a very high level that I think could fundamentally damage our relationship with NATO and America. I worry that this Prime Minister, who after all is a Remainer, it is a Remainer Labour Party in a huge way. I worry that he's going to take us so closely back towards alignment with the European Union and maybe even free movement of people for those under 30. I worry about those things because I believe that it damages our ability to do business with the rest of the world. And the bright economic future is not the Eurozone, believe you me.